Hello Blade Riders, welcome back to another episode of Dread Skates, and if you're just joining us for the first time, hey, welcome. As you may have guessed by the title, in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Meepo Flow. Now, I'm probably the last person to the party here on this one, but nevertheless, let's gear up and get this board out on the road so I can give you my real-world first impressions of how this board feels and rides out in the wild. And we're back. Through the magic of YouTube, I've been riding this board for about a month now and managed to put about 80 miles on the odometer, riding in various weather conditions and road conditions as well. Okay, so up front, let's just get this out of the way. At a distance, yes, the Flow does kind of look like a Stoke.
Oh no! Anyway, last week...
But once you get up close and personal with this board, that's where the similarities end, and you realize this is an entirely different animal underneath the hood. Quick shout out to Meepo for sending this board over to review, and as always, my thoughts and opinions on this board are my own. And so with that out of the way, driving this board are two 2000 watt 6374 motors, and believe me, that is plenty of chooch for a board of this form factor. Powering the Flow is a 12S2P 362 watt-hour Molly cell pack. Flow has an advertised range of 24 miles or 38 kilometers per charge. However, in my testing, I was routinely getting about 15 to 18 miles in my daily commuting. And also included in the box is Meepo's premium 4-amp fast charger, which will completely charge the board in about 2 to 3 hours. The deck is a composite of 2-ply bamboo, fiberglass, and 5-ply Canadian maple, and has next to zero flex. The deck length is about 34.6 inches by 9.5 inches, and features a sandblasted clear grit finish. Included standard with this board are Meepo's 105mm hollow core Cyclone wheels, and they sit on dual kingpin trucks on 100A durometer bushings, which are all stacked on half-inch risers, which makes this board sit slightly higher than most. The board uses the Hobbywing 9028 ESC, which is an interesting change as normally Meepo uses the Lifoc ESC in most of their boards. As per usual with Hobbywing controllers, the Flow includes a Hobbywing remote, which features 4 speed modes as well as USB-C for charging. This board boasts an impressive top speed of 32 miles per hour. Realistically though, you'll be cruising at about 26 to 28 miles per hour under ideal conditions. The Flow retails for $729 USD, but routinely goes on sale for between $600 to $699. You can also use affiliate codes for additional savings, and I don't have one, but I know a guy who might have a few. Real quick though, if you got this far and you like what you see, maybe consider hitting that thumbs up button, or maybe subscribing, turning on notifications. Lets me know that you want to see more content like this and motivates me to keep going. Alternatively, you can head down to the comments there and call me a soulless shill and quit watching halfway through the video. Every little bit helps. So let's go over what I really liked about this board and what I think could use improvement, and my overall thoughts kind of on the Flow in general. Overall, the ride feel of this board is very comfortable, and those stiffer bushings on DKP trucks mean that newer riders won't have that much trouble adapting to riding dual kingpin. The board itself is relatively stable at about 24 miles per hour, but over that, if you want to go a little bit faster, I felt that I would really have to kind of tighten the bushings down a little bit more. but that's not really where this board excels. Really at low speed, carving deep and slow is kind of where the Flow's bread and butter is, and that's not surprising considering its form factor. It's a very surfy, kind of like not quite, but almost sort of short board slash hybrid cruiser. And those big wide Meepo 105 wheels mean that it has a nice wide contact patch that's very grippy on the tarmac. Also worth a quick mention here is the kicktail. Yes, it is functional, however, the added weight of this board combined with the form factor make it a little awkward in some situations to really kick it around like you would like a normal kicktail on an analog board. Those dual 2000 watt motors also provided more than enough power for my daily commute and handled most moderate inclines with ease. And the larger 12S battery meant that I was doing 3 to 4 trips daily before needing to put it back on the charger during my regular commute. Also, I want to take a minute here to talk about the wheels. Now, while I can't say 100%, I'm pretty sure these are literally the re-released boosted 105 clones, and by that same token, that also means these are the exact same as the new Mad 105s. Mad Wheels, if I'm wrong and you've got a different formulation, let me know down in the comments and I'm happy to issue correction down in the description. That said though, they are very comfortable to ride on. Not pneumatic comfortable, but they handle most dips and cracks in the road fairly well. And the biggest thing about these wheels that I really liked is the fact that they don't use a specialized core. This is a standard Kegel core because again, they were basically boosted 105s, which means that the stock pulleys on the Flow are compatible with about 70% of the aftermarket wheels. So if you want to change your wheels out down the line, that's very easy to do. So with all that said, no board is perfect and Meepo is of course no exception. So let's go over some of the things about this board that I think could use a bit of improvement. The main complaint that's been called out by other reviewers and that I'm now getting to experience myself is the weight of this board. The Flow is about 24 pounds or 11 kilograms for our European friends, and while that might not sound like a lot, it definitely adds up if you're walking for like more than 10 feet or doing more than just like getting on and off a bus or a train or getting, into the elevator or just walking to and from your desk, etc. And it's really kind of awkward to carry around because there's really only 2 ways to kind of grip it, which is sidelong over the grip tape and kind of curling under the battery, or doing a very intense bicep curl / maul grab to kind of tote it around, because the bash guard in the back means you can't trolley it around. So it'd be nice to see something like if they could mold like a hand grip onto the battery enclosure or something that made it more like secure and more comfortable to grip. But otherwise, I really don't see any solution to that particular problem just because it does have that big of a battery. And on the note, I do actually really appreciate that it has a bigger battery. You have a lot less range anxiety on this board than you would with something like the Stoke or a smaller 10S battery. But that being said, I would still also maybe like to see a lower watt hour battery in the future for like a 10S version of this board, which would also make it a little bit lighter. So let's talk about quality. While the overall physical and visual construction of the Flow is very premium, anecdotally online, there are some accounts that have a kind of ongoing theme of reliability and after-sales service and support issues. While Meepo does do a very good job of stocking replacement parts on their website, both internationally and domestically here in the US, it is worth noting though that at some point in this board's life, you may be on your own for repairing it or servicing any of the parts that break on it after that warranty period. Now, I can't really just pin that on Meepo. That's kind of an industry problem in general, but it does bear mentioning when you look at any of these boards that don't offer an extended warranty program. Other than that, I only have one other big gripe, and it's a weird one, so let's go on a quick field trip to talk about it. Now, ADA bumps, and if you don't know what those are, that's these little bastards right here, are annoying at the best of time to experienced riders and can be challenging to newer inexperienced riders. However, I found while riding the Flow that I've had to compensate just a little bit more on the slightly more aggressive orange style of these for longer patches. And I don't know exactly why that is. I think it might have a little bit to do with how the wider contact patches on these 105s mixed with possibly my center of gravity being slightly higher on this board because of those half-inch risers and the double kingpin trucks. I'm not really sure, but it is worth calling out, and I really don't have a fix for it, but it is something that you can deal with. You just have to pay a little bit more attention when you're riding over these types of surfaces. And we're back. So, is the Meepo Flow worth your time and money? Well, as always, I can't answer that question for you. I can only offer my experiences for you as a data point to make your own choices. But I can say personally that I think it does tick all the right boxes for price and performance, and the ride feel of it is very comfortable and carby, and just really fun as kind of like a daily commuter with kind of old school cruiser surfboard vibes. And with decent range, but at the cost of a bit of portability. If you're interested in getting a Flow for yourself, you can head on down to the link down in the description. That is a non-affiliate code, but if you go and check out Daniel Senpai's website, he might have a discount code or something, or hit up my buddy Fred over at Eastgate Unity. He's always got something going on over there, so you can save yourself a couple of bucks. So until next time, stay safe out there, Blade Riders. Peace.